from Aspire with Amy, and I'm so excited to be here with you guys today to talk about a couple of things. As we are ending the year, it's July, and I know a lot of people are thinking, how can I finish the year strong? What can I do to create the life that I wanted to live with 6 months? And people tend to feel pressure. So the first thing I want to talk about is reflections. So take a moment, instead of jumping into that beast mode, grind mode, where you're kind of wearing yourself thin, reflect on how the year has gone thus far, okay? Think about the accomplishments you've made, the triumphs, the struggles. Think about all of that and reflect back on what you've learned so far in this 6 months. So for me personally, this past 6 months was probably been one of the hardest and one of the best 6 months in my life. It's kind of funny how it's like an oxymoron that happens, the best of times and the worst of times. For me, I learned that as you're stepping into the next level, not everybody can come with you. So for me, that was a hard thing to learn. Some people that I've had with, on my team or on my side are best friends for 20 plus years, as they've seen me kind of grow into this boss babe, which is not a flex or fronting, it's really who and what I've become. It's been a little bit hard for some people. Some people have been triggered. And so I just want to say, if you are going through that personally, don't let that stop you. If you have, lost friends as you're going to the next level, just know that God will provide your tribe. So keep doing you. Another thing which brought me to think about as I approach these next 6 months is permission. So a lot of times we don't give ourselves the permission. And what I mean by permission is we don't allow ourselves to live the life that we are wanting to do, go the places we want to go or dream. We're holding ourselves back, and you don't have to have permission from anybody, and not your kids, not your husband, not your boss, not anybody but yourself, because God has already declared it for you. You just have to step into that. And as I'm approaching to speak to a group of estheticians on this Sunday, I was thinking, what can I tell these beautiful estheticians, women who are entrepreneurs, how to have permission? And the first thing I wanted to say is give yourself permission to take care of yourself just as good as you take care of others. Now, as an esthetician or a beauty boss or just a boss in general, we tend to neglect ourselves. We're usually the one who has only one eyelash left because we keep missing our lash fill appointments. Our backs are hurting because we don't go to the massage therapist. We just tend to put ourselves on the back burner because we are taking care of our clients or our team or maybe your family or your business. Because, as we know, business is not a 9-to-5 thing. It's 24/7. So I want to give you guys the encouragement to give yourself the permission to put yourself first. Okay, there is no way that you're going to be right now. Currently, I am running a business I have 25 to 30 employees. There's no way that I can, I got myself a personal assistant. So there's a lot of people who would judge that. They would say, who does she think she is? She has a personal assistant. Yes, absolutely. There's no way that I can manage 30 plus employees, do payroll. Sometimes payroll is up to $60,000+ a month. All this stuff. Take care of my 2 daughters, my husband, and still be able to give my best self to all of those roles. So I did hire a personal assistant, and it's amazing because there's little things that I like, even gifts. Like some people are like, oh, you had your assistant get gifts. Yes, I would rather that person know that I was thinking about them and that I care enough about them. But sometimes because we're so busy, we don't stop at the store and get the bag and get this. But it doesn't mean that you don't care about that person. It just means that you didn't have time because you were trying to handle other stuff. So I say that to say this, like even in the Bible, the Proverbs 31 woman, she had a full household of servants. Not only was she managing herself, her family, but she was managing her staff, herself. So don't let anybody discourage you from delegation, even if that's in your business, hiring a front desk person or hiring, you have to be able to delegate in order to take some of that load off of yourself. And don't be ashamed about it. Because at first I was like, but no. Once I hired an assistant or got different areas of delegation covered, I was able to go that much further in my business, and I was able to enjoy those moments. Even meet the teacher night, because I didn't forget to have it on my schedule, I was able to be there and be present. So those little things like that, give yourself the permission to delegate, to take care of yourself, to schedule all of your appointments, and to show up. Block off your schedule, y'all. I know sometimes you guys don't even give yourself permission to take a restroom break or to take a lunch break. Like, y'all need to eat, okay? You need to go to the chiropractor, get the massage, all of that, because guess what? Your health is wealth. And if you don't take care of yourself, your body, you're not going to be able to create the legacy. A lot of people are starting their businesses to create a legacy for their family. And if you're dead because you're grinding yourself to the ground, you can't do that. So permission to take care of yourself. The next one is the permission to tell somebody to get the hell out your life. Like I mentioned earlier in the part of this episode, was I lost a few friends. I had people that judged me, because I was succeeding and because I was posting it on social media. The Bible says to rejoice, to put on a happy face, to put on a sense of contentment, and to show where your blessings. A lot of people are uncomfortable with seeing somebody rise to that next level. And it's not so much that they are jealous of you. They're just sometimes triggered by their own inconsistencies that they haven't reached that next level because they're not pushing themselves. So seeing you is a reminder of what they're not doing. So don't take it personally. It does hurt. I'm not going to lie. I lost my best friend of 20 plus years this year because she basically said that I was all about my business, money hungry, all that stuff. But in actuality, I am providing for my family. I'm providing for my family's family. I'm providing for my family's family. I'm creating a generational wealth, not only just for my family, but for other women. I'm creating an empire to empower other women. So don't be afraid. And that goes for toxic relationships. If that is your spouse, okay? I know some of y'all are clinging on to people that are not going to help you go to the next level, for whatever reason. You know what it is, and you know what you can tolerate and what you cannot tolerate. But if you have been weighing that decision, and if you are suffering, give yourself the permission to say goodbye. Kick rocks, ninja, okay? So give yourself the permission to not take people with you to the next level. Now, that doesn't mean be rude to them or never talk to them again, but if they are taking away from you, if every time you are in the room with that person and you feel this negative vibe, because life is energy, and even though you may be in your zone, you can still pick up on somebody's bad energy, and you don't want that for your life, because then you're going to take that energy to somebody else. So say goodbye. Same thing for friends, same thing for family. A lot of times when you are moving up to that next level, whether it's in your business or in your spiritual life, and they see that you've changed, sometimes your family will be like, hey, you've changed. Yeah, girl, I did change. Like, that is what life is about. It's about growth. It's about change. It's about moving to the next level. And if people don't understand that you are no longer the same person that they met 5 years ago, then that's on them. That's not your burden to carry. I had to learn that the hard way. I have a mentor, Tiffany Hendra, and she basically kind of gave me the permission, and this sounds weird, but to be okay with being beautiful. Like, a lot of people hide their beauty. They say, you know what, like, we shrink back. If you know you're beautiful and you know how to do your makeup, or if you know how to do something really well, and because it might make somebody insecure, you're holding back, like, just stop that right now. Because these are the things that are going to hold you back from making that 2023 goal that you set 6 months ago. Okay, so give yourself permission to say goodbye to people, family, friends, husbands, wives. I'm not advocating for divorce, but I am advocating for some type of separation so that you can make sure that your mentals, your spiritual health is on to the next level. Don't let anybody hold you back, because we only have one life to live. And that's another thing that I learned this year, was that life is so precious. So I had Lonnie Stoker. She was on my podcast last week or so, and I asked her, what was her why? Reflecting back, what was my why? What's your why? What's your why? And even as you get to a next level, because some of you guys are where you were praying for 5 years ago, and you've already reached that, and you're kind of like, okay, what's next? So ask yourself, what is your why? And I asked her, and one of the things she said was her family. She said, my daughter has more stamps on her passport than some adults. And I was I could have done a mic drop, but it's attached to the podcast. But I'm saying that was awesome. You know, that's something that she gave herself permission to do. She gave herself permission to create the life of her dreams, where she could afford to take her whole entire family overseas or to Dominican Republic or all these places, and to see her daughter be happy about it. And I realize that's one of my whys too. That's why you see me traveling a lot. You see, I want my daughters to know that there's more than just, there's more out there. There's more cultures. There's more experiences to be had. Don't just stay in your bubble, because you're going to pick up. I went to Europe recently, and me, my husband, my sister, and her mother, and I was just opened up to a whole new lifestyle. It was crazy how stressed out we are in America versus people in Europe. You know, they just enjoy their day. So make sure you're traveling. Make sure you know what your why is. Now, your why may not be to travel. Your why may be just to be able to, you know, live comfortably, to be able to provide for your family, or whatever your why is, whatever creating the life of your dreams looks like, however big it may be. But don't be afraid to give yourself permission to live a big life. Okay, God does not want us to play small in anything, because he doesn't get the glory. When you are rising and you're going to the next level, he is getting the glory for that. When you read the Bible, a lot of the people in the Bible were very successful. Let's go back to Genesis. Me and my sister are currently reading the Bible straight through, and we're in Genesis. And Abraham was so blessed with livestock, animals, all kinds of stuff, lots of wives. Lots of wives. But again, every person in the Bible a lot of times had an abundance. And so it's okay to have an abundance mindset. Now, me growing up, and I'm going to just be transparent with you, my mother had a lower vibration mindset. I think struggle was just normal for her. At the time, she was married to a man who was on drugs. He was a crack addict. I didn't know what that really meant when I was younger. I just knew that he was funny and things would end up missing a lot. So I saw my mom struggle unnecessarily. I remember one time she bought groceries and he broke into her house. He took all the groceries back to the store so that he can get money to go buy drugs. And he stole her car. And he just did all these things that was not the right mindset to deal with. And I think sometimes when you're in that cycle of not having that higher vibration, you can stay stuck in that cycle, but give yourself permission to get outside of that. You know, when I grew up, I was probably the only Black girl in our Girl Scout troop, and I would go to their houses. You know, I lived in apartments at that time, and I didn't know you could buy your own house. I didn't know you could have this mega mansion. Here I am looking at these girls and how they're living, and I didn't really, it didn't really dawn on me. I just always lived in an apartment. You know, my family didn't have that generational wealth at the house. My grandparents did, but my mother and other people in my family didn't have that at the time. So I didn't see that growing up. So now as I'm growing up and I think I have my own children, I didn't want that for my children. I wanted them to see us buy our first home. I want them to see us move into our multi-million-dollar home that we're about to close on. I want them to see that you can ask for more in life and it be okay, because you give yourself that permission to do so. And that's not a flex, it's not a brag, it is what it is. That's the life that I want. It may not be what you want or anybody else wants, but that's what I want. And I'm not afraid to give myself the permission to not care about what anybody else thinks anymore. In the beginning, I had a few people I was like, oh my gosh, if they think bad about me, should I shrink back? But then I realized that that's not helping anybody at all when I shrink back. In fact, I'm inspiring others to go to the next level, whatever that may be. Again, my journey is different than yours. So don't listen to me. And if you don't want a big house, if you don't want, trips or whatever, don't feel any type of way. But whatever you want, if it is that food truck business that you've been praying about, if it is that photography class that you wanted to take and get into just for your family, whatever it may be, it's okay. The next permission I wanted to talk about was the permission to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself, okay? You are your greatest assets, period. I take so many classes. Number one, I love knowledge, but I want to be, the way you can earn the money that you're wanting to is to be the best at what you offer. And that means additional training, continuing education, investing in yourself. And when you think about the money that you're spending on investing in yourself, just know that when you release that money, it is going to come back to you. Money is energy. So release that money so that way you can start doing what it is that you really know you're called to do. Okay? If it, like I said, mentioned earlier, if it's a photography class, if it's your own company, whatever it is, but invest in yourself. If it's a marketing class, if it's, you know, if you're an esthetician and you want to learn more facial techniques, if you want to be the best of the best of the best and charge those premium prices so that you're not overworking yourself and you get the recognition that you deserve, you have to invest in your training and your skill set and continuously. It's not just, you know, I know a lot of people who are like, oh, I took a class, you know, 5 years ago, I'm good. And you can tell when their skills are not at the level that somebody else's. You know, with social media, it's very apparent who's got it and who doesn't. So I say that to be okay to invest in yourself. Another thing that a lot of people don't want to do is invest in therapy. Okay, so it's a little bit taboo, and I don't want to say maybe so much in the Black community, but a lot of times counseling is frowned upon. But I do want to encourage you, especially if you're an entrepreneur, even if you're not an entrepreneur, even if you're just a woman or a man who's just dealing with life hits you in all kinds of directions. When you least expect, life is life. I mean, Jesus said, you know, you're going to have trials in this life, and having a counselor it's an investment in yourself. It's going to help you to be, because your husband doesn't want to hear everything that happened to you that day, you know, pettiness. So sometimes it's good to have a counselor who is unbiased. Their opinion is, you know, fair. They don't know the whole situation. They don't necessarily know you. They can give you an unbiased opinion. And that really helps. It's like a soundboard too, you know, for yourself. So you can realize how you need to grow as a person, not just how that person needs to grow. But invest in yourself. It's okay to talk about, you know, the problems of the world, because even as I sit here with the podcast and the school and, you know, all these awesome things, like I have troubles too. You know, I wake up some days and I'm like, oh God, I just want to go back to bed. Like, why do I have to do, you know? But then I realize I'm blessed to be able to do it. It's a mindset shift. And so every day that I'm able to do what I prayed for, I have to be grateful for that, because there's people that are looking up to me. And again, if you're trying to create generational wealth, you have to keep going. So don't be afraid to talk to a counselor. Obviously find the right one for you, what's good for your situation. But again, invest in yourself. That is the way you get to the next level. And permission to find a new circle. Okay? Don't be afraid to sit in a room where you're not the smartest person in the room. It's uncomfortable. You know, if you're a millionaire and you want to go to the next level, don't be afraid to sit in a room with billionaires. You know, it's going to be a whole different conversation than if you were to sit in a room with people who are only making $100,000 per year. Again, it's not about the money, but it is about the mindset. You know, they've mastered what it is to really have money, energy. They know it. I mean, when you listen to Elon Musk, you hear him talk about, oh, I have this company, I had to decide if I wanted to give 30 million to this or this or that. And you're like, what? Like, that's a whole new level, you know, for people. So don't be afraid to seek out those people and make yourself uncomfortable and get to know them, and just say, you know, be a sponge, you know. That's a great way I wouldn't say the only way, because God can do all things, but it is a great way to help you network and get to that next level. Again, as we are approaching, we have less than 6 months left until 2023. The year is going by so fast. But again, reflect on the good, the bads, the highs, the lows, and give yourself the permission to go for your goals, you know, whether it's weight loss, whether it's business, whether it's reconnecting a family relationship, whatever it is, it's okay to dream big. All right. And that's all I have to say today. Permissions and reflections.